Here I will create Plinth Beam Layout Plan of this house. This is the ground floor plan which I have already created, and its link is given in the description box. Here, this is the ground floor plan and this is the first floor plan. All these links are given in the description box. And in this video, I will create the Plinth Beam Layout Plan. So first of all, what is plinth beam? Plinth beam is a horizontal structural element provided at the plinth level of a building. It connects the foundation and the superstructure, serving as a crucial part of the building's framework. It is constructed above the ground level, typically just below the floor level. So, plinth beam is a strong horizontal beam placed at the base of the building just above the ground level. It connects the foundation to the walls and helps support the structure. So this is plinth beam. So now here I will do little modification of this column. This staircase column I will move the position little bit towards this side. Here. Now all the plans we have to, in ground floor we have to change, means in first floor also we have to change. So first we will change in the ground floor. Now we have to change in first floor also, because column position should remain same. Okay, now it's done. Now go back to plinth beam layout plan. Okay. Now here, first we have to create a new layer as beam layer. So go to layer, shortcut key LA, enter. I'm already having beam layer, so I'll simply change the color. Here it is red color. I will change this. I'll not keep it as red. Beam layer, change the color. I will color as per your choice. You can keep. I will keep this one. Okay. You can select any color. Now line type we have to change. Line type I will take dashed. Click on OK. Line weight 0.30. Click on OK. So line weight, line type dash, line weight 0.30. We have done. Now create another layer, that is beam number. Beam number, change the color. I will keep the color as blue. Click on OK. Line type continuous. Select continuous. Click on OK. And line weight default. Click on. So create two layers, one beam, one beam number. Make beam layer as current layer. Now we have to create our beam. We have to place our beam. Okay. So first of all, we have to turn off all layers except wall and column layer. So go to layer, turn off all layers first. Select all, turn off all layers. Now only turn on column and wall. Here we are creating plinth beam. Okay. Now we are doing on ground floor plan, that's why, because it is plinth beam we are creating. Now take line command. Here beam size is 9 inch into 15 inch because column size is 9 inch into 15 inch. So as per structural design, beam size is taken as 9 inch into 15 inch. So first point here, second go to beam layer is turn up, turn on in. Okay. This is the beam. Now change the line type to 15. You can see. So this is the beam. Now you have to give offset of 9 inch. 9 inches length and 15 inches depth. Here it is offset. Again give line command. L enter. Click first point here, second point here, another end of the column. Again, give offset. Do match properties. Give offset. Offset distance 9 inch. Length of the beam. Select, click to this side. So length of the beam 9 inch and depth 15 inch. Again, give line command. Click this end of the column and click another end of the column. Now, give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click to this side. Now give mass properties. Do mass properties. Okay. Again, line command. Click first point here, second point in another end of the column. Now give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click to this side. These are primary beams we are creating because column to column, both the ends of the beams are connected to columns. That's why these are primary beams. Now again, line command. Click first point here, this end of the column, another point, another end of the column. Again, this end to this end. Now give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click. Now again, I will create first, then I'll do mass properties. Line command, click here and click here in another end of the column. Again, give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click to this side. Again, line command, click here and click, end it here in another end of the column. Now give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click to this side. Now these are primary beams we have created. Do mass properties here and here. Okay. Now, these are partition walls you can see. And this is another wall. This wall beam size will be 9 inch into 12 inch because here column is not there, only wall thickness is 9 inch. So, first I will change the color of the beam. I will take this one. Okay. Now it is clearly visible. Okay. So, line command. I will create this beam. This was first point here. And draw a line. Now give I will create here. For that, take construction line, Excel, enter, horizontal line and click here. Okay. See, I am creating beam first, then I will arrange them. As per column location, we have to arrange them. So, click here and give offset distance 9 inch. Select, click to this side. 9 inch is length of the beam. Do match properties. Again, give offset distance 9 inch. Now 9 inch offset to this side. Do match properties to this side and to this side. We cannot see the hatch because you have to trim this. This is construction line. So trim from this side. We have done. Now this side when we will trim, we can see the dotted line. Select here. Trim this. You can see. Now we have to trim from another end also. Trim this. Also have to trim from here. Select these two lines and trim from here. Also you have to trim this. We have done. Now we have to create another beams here. Now construction line, vertical line will take and click here and this wall is 5 inch partition wall. So here it is secondary beam. Okay. See, it is 5 inch wall. So 5 inch wall means beam size will be 9 inch into 9 inch depth. 9 inches length and 9 inch depth. That is partition wall beam size. Now again here, this is, click here. This is also primary beam. Select, click to this side. Okay. Now trim from here, trim, select this and trim from here. Now this side, this beam we have to trim this side and again give trim command, select this line and trim from here. So this beam is secondary beam. Now do mass properties. Secondary beam size is 9-inch length and 9-inch depth. See, here is the, you can see edge of the column is this side. So we have to keep the beam in same position of the column. In this, you can see the construction line I have put. Okay, so we have to move the beam to the column edge on same level. So we have to move means draw a line first. Draw a line. Now select the beam, move this point to this point. Hope you understood what I did. Okay. Beam should be top of the column. Here also beam is outside of the column. So we have to see here should be the beam line. Now what we need to do? Draw a line. So next time when you will create, try to create on this point. Okay. Now move this point to this. Now delete this line. Okay. You have created this correctly. All right. Now we have to trim all the extra lines. Here also, this is also, there is here also we have to create another beam here, this side, and here for staircase we have to put 3 beams. We will create this. So we will simply extend this beam. No need to create. You can give construction line or you can simply extend. Okay. Now you have to create another beam here. So for that, take line command, L enter, specify first point here, this end to this end, and again take line here to here and another line here to here. Now trim, delete this line. Now give offset of 9-inch to each. Now do match properties. Match properties here. Do match properties to this side also. Now we have to trim all the extra lines and the extra beams we have created. We have to trim. I'll start from here, from this corner point. This is one beam, primary beam. Okay. Now this is another beam. Trim here. Trim here. Trim this. Now trim this side. This is also primary beam. Now trim. This is also primary beam. Because column to column you can see this is also primary beam. This is also primary beam. This is also primary beam, and this one is the secondary beam because one end is connected to column, another end is connected to primary beam. Trim this. This is also primary beam. Primary beam. Now trim this, trim this. Here we have to trim these extra lines. Very carefully you have to trim. Yes. Trim this and see here also need to trim. Okay. Now make wall layer, turn off wall layer. Now move the beam with column to another side. Now turn on all layers. You have to turn on. Go to layer, select all and turn on all layers. Now this plan is no longer required, so I will simply delete this because I have already kept one copy of this. So here it is not required. I'll simply delete. Now move this to here. This is the north-south direction. Okay. This is beam we have placed. Now we have to specify the beam number. This is primary beam. This to primary beam. This is secondary beam. Okay, this is also secondary beam. Here this is no, there is no beam. So trim this. Trim this. Okay. Here also. This is also secondary beam. Okay. Now we have to make beam number layer as current layer. We have to specify number of beam. Beam number we have to specify here. So I'll copy this text from here. If you want to create new text, you can create, but it is not required. Why should I create new text as I already have the text? So simply change the layer to beam number layer of the text. Now I'll rename this B1 means beam 1 and the dimension we have to mention 9-inch length by 15-inch depth. So beam 1, this is beam 1. So beam 1 means B1, this here to here, 9-inch length, 15-inch depth. This is primary beam. Beam 1 is primary beam. Now this beam 2, select, copy, paste it here and rename this to B2. Beam 2, size is 9-inch length, 15-inch depth. This is also primary beam. Beam 2 is also primary beam. Now select, copy, paste it and rotate it. Make ortho on and rename this to B3 and dimension. Size of the beam is same 9-inch, length 15-inch, depth. So this is beam 1 is primary beam, beam 2, these 3 beams are secondary beams because these are not connected with columns, these are connected with primary beams. Okay, so these are secondary beams. Now B1 is primary beam, B2 is primary beam and B3 is also primary beam. Now here this is 11 feet 6 inch beam to beam length. Here this is 11 feet 6 inch and here it is also 11 feet 6 inch beam to beam length. So these 3 beams, these 3 length of these 3 beams are same 11 feet 6 inch distance. So these 3 beams are B3. Okay. All 3 beams length 11 feet 6 inch. That's why name of these 3 beams are 11 feet. Sorry, B3 and size is same 9-inch, length 15-inch, depth. Okay, 3 beams length you can see 11 feet 6 inch. That's why name also same. Okay, now I'll move this text. So you have to arrange the text so that it should be visible clearly and someone will read the drawing. He should read it very thoroughly. Okay, so you have to put the text very with the neat and clean. You have to write the text. This length is also 11 feet 6 inch. This length is also 11 feet 6 inch. Okay, so these are secondary beams. See here. This is ground floor plan. We are creating a ground floor plan because it is plinth beam layout plan. Okay. Now this wall is 9-inch wall, this wall, this is the beam, and this is partition wall. See here, it is 5-inch partition wall, and both the this wall, both end connected to wall means beam of this beam is connected to primary beam. That's why, that means it is secondary beam. This is also partition wall. All these partition walls. Okay. Now what we need to do? Delete this text. Select, copy, select, Control C, Control V, paste it here. This is secondary B3. Why B3? Because the dimension is same. 11 feet 6 inch. Secondary beam, but the depth is 9 inch. 9 inch length, depth is 9 inch because this is secondary beam and this is for partition wall. Beam, thickness of the wall is, width of the wall is 5 inch thick wall. That's why depth of the beam we are giving 9 inch, length 9 inch, depth 9 inch. Secondary beam. Okay. Now I'll paste it here. For this partition wall, this is also secondary beam 3, 9 inch length, 9 inch depth. Okay, this is 9 inch. Okay, 9 inches length of the beam and 9 inch depth of the beam. Depth we cannot see here. Depth we can, beam depth we can see in the sectional elevation. In section only you can see. Here for this beam, this beam is for 9 inch wall. Okay, so trim this. So this is 16 feet 2 inch. This is also 16 feet 2 inch. That means this is also beam 1. So I'll copy this. This is also beam 1. Paste it here. Beam 1. So B1, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. Now this kitchen, for this kitchen wall, beam will be kitchen wall thickness. See, this is also 15 feet 11 inch. This is also 15 feet 11 inch. Check the length always and specify the names. That means this is also beam 2 and this is also primary beam. So paste it here. Beam 2. Okay. Okay, beam 1, beam 2, beam 3, primary beams. Now secondary beam, SP3. Sorry. Now this is also beam 1. Now for this is the kitchen wall. For this kitchen wall, this beam, this plinth beam we have to provide. This is kitchen wall is 9 inch thick. So for that, beam width we are taking 12 inch. Why 12 inch? Because there is no column, but the thickness of the wall is 9 inch. That's why we are giving 12 inch depth. But length of the beam 9 inch. This is also secondary beam because both the ends are connected to primary beams. And this is secondary beam 1. Sorry, secondary beam. Secondary beam, this will be secondary beam 4. Secondary beam 3 we have mentioned. This is secondary beam 4. We will rename. Okay. So, beam length is 9 inch and depth is 12 inch. Okay. So, I hope it's clear. Now, remove the text. Okay. Specify the text so that the drawing should be clearly visible. Now, you have to specify all the names very clearly. Okay. Now, this is 15 feet 8 inch. This is 15 feet 11 inch. This is 16 feet 2 inch. Okay. So, these two beams are not same. Distance is not same. And this is 15 feet 11 inch. That means this beam is also beam 2. Okay. So, I'll copy beam 2 here to here. This is also beam 2. Now delete this text. This is dimension line. Sorry. This is also beam 2. This beam 2 is also primary beam. Now this is another primary beam. Select, copy. Here also another beam. So paste it here. This will be beam 5. And length is 9. Depth is 15. I'll increase the height 9 inch. Now beam 5 is 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. Now this distance is also 14 feet 8 inch. This is also 14 feet 8 inch. This is 14 feet 8 inch. Now, three beam distance are same, 14 feet 8 inch. That means these three beams are same. Beam numbers are same. This is also B5, beam 5, primary beam. And this is also primary beam 5, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. Delete these two dimension lines. Okay. This beam, select, Control C, Control V. Copy paste. Okay. This is beam 6. Same length is 9 inch. Beam length 9 inch and depth 15 inch. I will paste. Write the text very clearly so that the drawing should be clearly visible. This is beam 5, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. This is beam 5, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. Okay. This is beam 3, primary beam 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. All primary beam length 9 inch, 15 inch depth, and beam 4, 9 inch, 12 inch depth. This is secondary beam 3, 9 inch length, 9 inch depth, and beam 3, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. Speed beam 2, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. This is 9 inch length, 15 inch depth, beam 3, and this is beam 2, primary beam. Beam 1, beam 2, beam 3, beam 5, 6, all are primary beam. Secondary beam 4 is secondary beam, and secondary beam 3. Two beams are secondary beam 3, and one beam secondary beam 4. Okay. This is secondary beam 4. All right. So we have specified beam names. Now we have to check here. This is 6 feet 3 inch. This distance is also 6 feet 3 inch. That means here both the distance are same, but this is primary beam. Okay. This is, move this. This is B7, beam 7, 9 inch length, 15 inch depth. And this side it is secondary beam 7, because one end is connected with column, but another end is connected with the primary beam. Okay. So this side beam, one end is connected with the column, but the another end is connected with the primary beam. That's why it is secondary beam 7. Distance is same. That's why beam name will be same. And this beam name will be beam 8. Beam 8, 9-inch length, 15-inch depth. Okay. So, we have created. Now you can see this is beam 1. This is beam 2, 9-inch length, 15-inch depth. This is primary beam 3. This is secondary beam 3. Okay. Secondary beam 3 because it is partition wall and 9-inch length, 9-inch depth. This is 15-inch depth, but this is 9-inch depth because 5-inch wall, and this is 10-inch wall. There is no column. Secondary beam 4, 9-inch into 12-inch depth, and this is secondary beam 3, 9-inch into 9-inch depth, 9-inch length, 9-inch depth. This is beam 2. Okay, this is beam 5. These are all primary beams. Beam 5, beam 5. This is also beam 5, 9-inch depth, 15-inch. Beam 6, beam 2. This is also beam 2. Because dimension is same, distance is same. This is beam 7, 9-inch into 15-inch depth, and this is secondary beam 7, 9-inch length, 15-inch depth. And last, this is beam 8, 9-inch length, same 15-inch depth. So we have specified all beam names. Okay, now go to layer, create a new layer as grid line. Change the color. I will keep it white. Click on OK. Line type dash dot, and line width default. Then another layer you have to create grid line number. Color I will give blue. Click on OK. Line type continuous and line width default. Okay. Now make grid line layer as current layer. Now we have to take grid line. So what we need to do, we need to create the grid line on midpoint of the column. So give offset distance 5 feet first to each side to create the outside grid line level. Now I'll do fillet, give radius 0. Click here, again fillet, click here and here, again fillet, click here and again fillet, click here. Now we need to create the grid line. Take construction line, horizontal line here. First I'll take the horizontal line. Now click on the center point of the column. See, this is the midpoint. Click in the midpoint of the column. Click here. See, both the columns. So click here. Now here the midpoint. Here it is the midpoint. Click here. Now here is the midpoint, and this side here it is the midpoint. Okay, is the midpoint? Yes. We have done. Now we have to take construction line, vertical line. Take, this is the center point. Click here. Now here the midpoint. Click here in the midpoint. Here the midpoint. Here this is the midpoint. Click here. Okay. And this is the midpoint for this column. Now we have to trim from the boundary wall we have created. Trim all this extra lines. Okay. Delete this line. Now this boundary wall we have to delete. No longer required. Now what we need to do, we have to specify the grid line, go to properties, change the line type to 30. Sorry, 40. Now it's changed. Now I'll do match properties. Select, do match properties and do match properties with all the grid line. Now created. Now we need to specify grid line number. Means grid line names. Okay. So grid line number we need to specify means first give 5 feet here, from here to 5 feet, and trim this line from here and from here, and delete these two lines. Also delete this line. Now here also you have to give offset distance 5 feet. Select, click to here, and it is trimmed from here, and delete this. Okay, so we have created. Now make grid line number layer as current layer, because we have to specify the grid line number. We have to trim this from here. This long grid line is no longer required. Okay. Now draw a circle here. Take radius 1 feet. Enter. Now move this to this point. Now take text. For text, take DT, enter. Now J for justify. Middle, in the middle of the circle, we need to create the text. So middle, M, enter. Now click here, specify the height. Height I'll take 1 feet. Now double enter. Now we have to write the text here. This is A. Enter. Now I will copy this. Okay. Select. We have to copy and paste on each point. Now change the layer to green color. Now what we need to do, select, copy, and paste it here and here. Again, copy. So we need to go to object snap and quadrant on. Now select, copy. Here you can see the quadrant. Now paste it here. Paste it here. On this side, this is 1, 2, and this is 3. And another side A, B, C. One side number, one side alphabet. Okay. You have to copy and paste it here. Sorry. First we have to rename this. Otherwise we have to again write. So this A, this is B, and it is C. Now we will copy to another side. 1, 2, 3 we have written. Okay. Select, copy, and paste it here. It is done. So what we have done, we have to copy this 1, 2 first to this side. This is not the 3, this is 4. Because another grid is there, it is 3. Okay. So select, copy, D. This side it is D. This is also D. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So as per these grid lines, number of the column number will be specified. Now we have to paste here. This is 4 and this is 3. This is third grid line number 3. Okay. So to understand, look, 1, 2, 3, this side 3 and this side 4. Okay. This is the beam layout plan we have created. There are also 2 in it too. That's why this grid number. Okay, I will change this line to this. Sorry, to move with the number and paste it here. Like this. It's done. Now this is the beam layout plan. This. So this is the plinth beam layout plan. Plinth beam is constructed above the ground level and below the floor level. Okay, it connects the foundation to the walls and it helps support the structure. Now change the height to 1.6 inch. This is plinth beam layout plan. Plinth beam layout plan. Okay. So I hope you found this video helpful. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, share the video, and if you have any query, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.